Hello everyone, my name is Havian and today I'm gonna go over the update that was added to the Japanese version of the game. The large update. The update everyone's been waiting to see. So I'm gonna show you it. I'm gonna go over what they've added, what I've found in it, and I'm going to show you a few things. And honestly, I can say that a lot of the things I was complaining about, they've actually fixed. Or they've improved them, or they've added them. Alright, so this update is patch 1.04 or version 2.0. And for the PS3 it is 480 megabytes, and for the Vita it is 370 megabytes. Give or take about 2 or 3 megabytes. I just rounded it up. They added a new game plus with this update. They added a gallery. So if you go to this painting over here and talk to it, you will be able to see the different scenes from the game. I haven't actually seen any movie scenes. I've just seen some of these images. I haven't flipped through it too much, so I don't know if the movies are actually in there, but they do have a few of the CG images. They've added a new sword skill to every weapon. So let me show you exactly what I mean. Let me go into sword skills. So they've added so this is 4, this is 3, and this is 4. So they've added a new sword skill. The first time I saw this numeral, I was like, why are they making up their own numerals? Because 4 already existed. They couldn't have really replaced another sword skill with the 4 icon, so they just added this one. But I looked it up, I googled it, and this numeral actually exists. They've done their research. This is another way of saying 4 apparently. So there's both ways. So this isn't just a numeral they made up, but that is the 4th sword skill they've actually added to every weapon. There you go. So on every weapon it seems to be a level 200 or 250 proficiency skill, but every weapon has got it. Some weapons they're not that useful, but some of the other weapons they're pretty good. They've added a few extra effects to weapons as well. So sometimes when weapons drops, you'll see that before they would only have like 2. They would have 2 affixes to them, but now they have up to 3, and they've added some new ones. So you've got ones where they reduce the elemental defense or reduce defense of enemies and that kind of stuff. So they've added a few new ones, and they've shown the rank of them as well. So let's see, which weapon do I actually have? I'll show you on this one. So you can see on the bottom there, it's got a B, and that means that it's going to reduce the light resistance to an enemy, and it tells you how much of an increase it actually has. So it's got 82. I've seen some go over 300, and those ones are double S rank in terms of the affix it has or the bonus it has. And they've done another thing. Oh man, I don't know if you're able to notice inside of here, but when I go into the field you'll see, but they've added an option to stop minimap rotation. Oh man, that got on my nerves. Now minimap rotation hack, you can fix it in the options menu. No more getting lost for me. Or, I mean, less getting lost for me, because I'm pretty sure something will still happen. I'm blaming the minimap rotation. Now I actually have a minimap that stays fixed. Now I know where I'm going. So they've added more weapons to the games. They've added HG weapons as well, which are, I guess the HG may stand for high grade, maybe. I'm not too sure, but HG weapons, they're going to look like some of the previous weapons that you found, like lower rank ones, but the HG versions of those are going to be rank 10 and they're going to have higher stats. So let's say you found a Dark Repulsor, I guess, and it was rank 9. If you found a HG version, it would be rank 10 and it will have higher stats. Or if you found like a level, the first weapon you find in the game basically that you start with, let's say you find a HG one of that, so it's going to be rank 10. So you can find higher level and stronger versions of the weapons that you like the look of, basically. And they've added GGO outfits, as you can see here. Kirito looking like he needs a sandwich. There's one, and then we've got Sinon in hers as well. Yep, they've added it. Everyone's got the GGO outfits. Everyone meaning just Kirito and Sinon. But it doesn't matter. It's good enough. Let me switch back, because I'm going to be using him to actually fight with. They've added, actually I should have kept Sinon. I should have kept Sinon for the next thing. Oh boy. They've added, they've added a few of the costumes that were pre-order only or obtainable through other means. They've added them to the game, so Sinon will get the bath towel as well. That's GGO. There. So they've added the bath towels to all of the girls. The dudes don't have anything yet. There's no mini bath towels for the dudes. They've just added bath towels to the girls. So they've added that as well. From what I've seen so far, it seems like status effects land a lot easier. I can't say for certain, but it does look like status effects do land a lot more often. With some of the characters, I'll cast it once and it just lands. No matter what the enemy is, boss or not, the status effects seem to land. But the status effects seem to have diminishing returns. So the more you use it, the less it will stick, but it will last for a shorter amount of time. So let's say the first time you use it, it will last for like 30 seconds. Then the second time you use it, it will last for 20 seconds. Then third time, 10, so on and so forth. And they've done some balance changes as well. So they've fixed a few balance issues. It feels like the normal mode of this game. It feels like before the patch, the normal mode was the easy mode, or it should have been the easy mode. But now that they've patched it, it feels like hard mode, mode that used to be hard feels like the normal now. The easy is the old normal, and hard is hard, I guess. Hard is hard. I was playing as Kirito, and I was trying to do a mission solo. My character's not even squishy by any means, but I was fighting an opponent which was a 370 red guy as part of the storyline, and he one-shot me with a move. One shot in the hard mode. That doesn't happen, or it never used to happen. But yeah, red guy OP, a level 370 one-shot, a level 700 Kirito with one sword skill. So it feels like they've done a lot of balance changes, and the hard mode, even though it is more of a challenge, is still manageable. But I don't know, honestly, I don't know if the hard mode or if there are any difficult settings do anything to do with loot. I don't know if they actually make any changes with that. But they have actually added 7 and Lux now. So 7 has been added to the game. She starts off at roughly around level 200, so she starts really low. You can't use any of the outfits with her. She has none. So she only has the one that she's got with her. It would be a bit... I can see why they didn't do the bath towel and the... What was the other one? The bath towel and the other one. You know what I'm talking about. The bath towel and the bikini. There's no reason they would need to give it to 7. She's like 12. I can understand why they didn't do that, but they should have at least given her something else. I mean, Lux has multiple outfits, plus she has all the other ones. And 7, she uses a spear, a bow, and a mace. And Lux, I don't know, her character design looks a little bit weird to me. It looks like she's got to take the hanger out of her clothing. She's got some really stiff shoulders there. But she uses a sword, a dagger, and a mace. In the cutscene, in the trailers, it may have looked like she was using dual wields, but I think the offhand weapon she was using was actually a shield that just looked like a dagger. From what I've seen in the trailers, it looks like a dagger because she was using one-handed sword skills. She wasn't using dual wield sword skills in the trailer. She was using one-handed sword skills, but she was holding an offhand dagger. So I'm thinking that is just a shield that looks like a dagger to make it look like all of your characters can dual wield. Don't know how to find it. You can probably find it at some point in the game. But Lux, she does have different outfits. She does have a secondary one. I don't know if it's in the novel or anything, but she's got this one, and she's got... Oh, she's got the other ones as well. She's got the bikini and the whatever you call it, the towel. I keep forgetting the names, man. There you go, Lux. She's wearing the same one as Sinon, or at least it's similar to the one that Sinon had. And there you go. There's the bath towel, or here's the bath towel. There is Lux in everything. I still haven't used her much, or I still haven't really used her at all. So I can't say for sure what I'd recommend as her weapons to use, but I'll get around to using her in a little bit. But she starts off with pretty much everything unlocked. She starts off fairly high level, like 500 and... What level is she? She's level... I think she was level 580 or 570. She starts pretty high. But menu-wise, one of the biggest things... Oh my gosh. One of the biggest things I wanted, what I needed from the bottom of my soul is they've added item sorting, finally. There you go. You can move your items around finally, so they actually show up neatly in your list. Oh man, I needed that. So you can sort items now. Inside of the equipment screen, you can check what bonuses your equipment actually has before going into it. Usually you'd have to go into the item list, push triangle to see what bonuses they have on them. But now they've got the little squares underneath the equipment list. You'll have the different stats or different bonuses you'll have on each weapon. So you can just see it directly from there. So you don't need to actually have to push triangle every time you want to see the bonuses a weapon or a bit of equipment has. They have added enhancement descriptions on magic and skills. So at the bottom of the skills, underneath the description of what the skill actually does, it tells you now what you'll actually get for increasing the level of a skill. So it'll tell you if the time increases, or it'll tell you if it increases in power, or it'll tell you if the effect range is wider, or it'll just tell you what it does, or what would happen if you increase the level of a skill now. So you're not left wondering what would actually happen if you increase the level of a skill. And then you can change party members inside of the, not party members, you can change who you want to equip by flicking the left stick now. So usually you'd have to go out of the menu and then go into like the next player and then pick their equipment, but now you can just do it from any player you select. You can just flip between their equipment by just flicking the right stick, or you can flip, if you push select, you can flip between the different menus. So if I flick on right stick and then push select, I can still be on Asuna, but I can be the equipment screen. Then I can push select again and I'll move between the different menus, and then if I push the right stick, then I'll move between the different characters. Okay. Now that's done. Now we've got all the menu and all that nonsense out of the way. Let's go and see what's new inside of the town. What have they added to the town? Let's take a look around town. So inside of Lisbeth's shop and in the tavern, they have added a equipment lady. So they've added someone to the third counter. Before there was someone that was never at the third counter, but now they've actually added someone. It makes me feel like this update was already pre-planned, but they just never finished it before the game was released. Because everything's already been set up for it, and now they've done it. Now the game actually, to me, the game feels complete. It feels complete. I just want to see what they're going to be adding next. But yeah, so this item count, this lady at the counter here, and in the tavern as well, you can equip all of your characters with equipment from this menu. So you don't have to keep going back and changing characters to do that. You can just equip all of your characters from this menu here and change their skills and that kind of stuff. So they've made it a lot easier to do that. Before you'd have to go back to the tavern, change your character, change their equipment, switch back to whatever character you wanted, but now you can just do it from one lady, one menu. Babe. You can do all of it from Babe. And you can now select multiple items to sell. Oh, this is good. This is good. This was something that caused me a lot of pain, a lot of grief. So I'll show you with some, let's see, some swords. I don't want that. So if you push square, you can actually pick multiple items that you want to actually sell. So I don't want these three. And then I'm going to push X, sell all of them. Usually you'd have to do them one by one. It took a long time, but now you can sell multiple items at once. And when appraising items at Lisbeth, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to appraise items at Lisbeth. When you appraise them, now you can push triangle to actually check what item they are and to check what stats they have. I think this was added. I can't remember if this was not in the first version. I'm pretty sure I tried to do it in the original version. I couldn't do it. But it seems like they've added an option to do it now. So now you can check what stats they have. You can check everything about them just from this menu after you've appraised them. Usually I'd have to go into the inventory and check them, or at least I believe I used to. That's what I'm remembering. Memory's horrible, but that's what I remember. But now you can just do it straight from here. It makes things a lot simpler. But that seems to be the only thing they've done with Lisbeth's store. They did say they were going to make some changes to it, but I believe that is the only real change. Okay, so now we're going to get into the good stuff, the extra meaty stuff. We're going to go to the arena. They have added an arena mode to this game, where you can fight other NPCs. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't know if you need to actually complete the storyline before this unlocks, but once you do unlock it, you'll find it down here. So in the arena, your opponents are going to be randomly generated, or not randomly generated. Your opponents are going to switch every time you enter, basically, or after you've done a fight. So there's only going to be 3 opponents at a time. So I can fight Lisbeth, Sinon, and Klein. Oh man, should I take on? I'm going to take on Lisbeth. Klein Maybe Klein. No, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, let's battle. When you fight an opponent and when you win, then you have a chance to get a weapon. And if you appraise that weapon, it seems to be pretty much any weapon you can get from there. I've even got an Excalibur from this. So you can get some pretty rare stuff from here as well. But it's pretty much just a duel, a one-on-one duel with this mode. I'm not going to show the multiplayer duels in this video because that's its own beast. I will do that really soon. But the online stuff I'm not going to get into just yet. But I will show you that eventually. But for now, I'm going to show you the 1v1 duels. I'm just going to skip this. It's just them asking to challenge each other for a duel. Yeah, let's do it. This happens every time. She's using fists, so I'm going to buff up at a distance. As usual, you want to weaken your opponent. So I'm going to get away from her. Now that she's slowed, I'm going to reduce her attack. This is how you kite people, man. This is how you kite people. And I'm going to reduce her defense. Now that she's still running slow. Oh, she's not happy. Now she knows what I'm doing. Now she's attacking with magic. And this is when I go in for the attack. When she's weakened. But she is countering. That's the one thing I fear about Fist. The fact that they can counter really, really easily. Wrecked. I am playing the game in normal mode at the moment. I have pretty much done everything in hard mode. But right now I'm just doing everything in normal mode. Just for the sake of this video. So if you've actually worked out how to do your characters, you can destroy some of the NPCs and some of the characters. But there we go. That's I'll do another one. I'll do one more. Brother sister fight. Leafa. But yeah, I've decked out Kirito, so I kind of know what I'm doing with him. I'll do some hard mode duels, or I'll do some duels online so you can see what it's like in a real fight. Alright, first things first, you want to slow their speed. Nope, you slow down Leafa, then you want to decrease defense. Decrease attack. Oh, okay, so now she's casting magic. I want to increase, actually no, I don't really need to increase my run speed. She's already impaired. Yeah, you left yourself open, Leafa. You left yourself open. Man, all these stats, the amount of status effects I've got stacked on this guy is insane. Okay, so I won an item, so I'm going to go and appraise that and see what we actually got. But that's pretty much how duels actually play out, the 1v1 duels. On hard mode, it's a little bit challenging. It's more challenging. You're not going to be able to just one-shot things like that. I honestly didn't think. I don't even use +10 weapons yet. I haven't even got any of my weapons at +10. I don't understand how I'm one-shotting. But yeah, it won't be that easy. When I was playing on hard mode and I was facing Yuki, she killed me with one sword skill. I was like, fair enough. Went back in there, still won after, but in hard mode they're strong. And they're strong. I'm gonna praise this item, see what I actually got. Hopefully it's something good. Let's appraise. Oh, it's a rapier. It's got good bonuses at the very least. It's got some very good bonuses. Darkness, defense down, magic attack down, and defense down on the opponent. But it's a rank 9. I don't know if I'm gonna use rank 9s too much. I'd rather get a HG weapon or a HG version of it. Okay, so I'm gonna go into the field and show you a few minor things they've added to the actual field. Alright, time to go outside. Let's step out there. It's not much, it's a few minor things, but it's still good things nevertheless. Okay, so in the field, you can actually change your skills now. So if and you can change your equipment. So I can actually go in here, I can change to, oh man, I don't even want to unequip this. Yeah, so I can change my weapon, I can totally change my equipment, I can totally change the skill layouts I've got, or the skill setups. Alright, that's a sword I had on before. And let's say I wanted to change my skills, you can do that too. So if there's a sword skill I want to remove, or if there's a sword skill I want to add, I can just throw this on there. But this is what the Dual Blades number 4. I don't even know what to call it, there's 2 4s. So this is the Dual Blades 4 version 2 skill. That may not look like it's much, but I reckon it's a pretty quick to activate sword skill, so it will be good for certain situations. It seems like a lot of the sword skills they've added now are pretty situational, and they seem to be just filling a gap that the weapon used to have. Oh, and they've done something with items. Now they've color-coded your items to make them a lot clearer, so you can actually pick what you need a lot better. Usually before everything was pretty much grey, but now they've color-coded everything so you know kind of what category you're picking. So the purple ones are always going to be, well, not always, but the purple ones are more often than not, they're going to be MP related. Then the HP ones are going to be turquoise, and they're usually going to be HP related. You get what I mean? So it's that kind of thing. I need to, now that I look at this, I need to actually go and buy some resurrection items before I show you the next thing. Oh boy, I'm gonna need some of those. Because we're gonna get into battles now. We're gonna get into the extra content they've added that is combat-wise. Combat-wise. Stuff. Dungeons. They've added dungeons. That is one of the biggest things I was saying the game needed, and they've done it. They have added the dungeons to the game. So I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. It's gonna be, you'll be able to do them on, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to do them on multiplayer as well, where a group of you will go into a dungeon, you'll do a dungeon run, and you'll fight bosses as you're on your way through, then you'll fight a major boss at the end of it. Man, I wanted that. I wanted it so bad, and they done it. Sometimes I wonder if they're spying on me. I wonder if they're spying on me. I need to move that item. I need to move that item. I don't want to have that right at the end. So I'm going to go into my item list, go to the bottom, move that. I need to move that to, move over here. So it's a lot closer in my list to where I want it to be. Alright, so let's show you the new missions. First I won't show you the whole of the dungeon mission because they are pretty long. They're pretty long. I'll explain it as I go through. And I'll show you like the first floor or so, but then you'll have to enjoy it yourself when it gets added to the game. Or I'll probably do another video going through all of them. Or I'll probably do other videos going through all of them because they are pretty long, so I won't be able to go through all of them in this one video. Alright, so let's pick this one. I believe this is the very first one. And they do differ there's 3 different ones at the moment, but I'm pretty sure they're going to add some more through DLC. So there's 3 dungeon or search missions. So the way this works is exactly the same way I've been complaining about, or the same way that I've wanted the dungeon. NAMCO, just give me a job. Just give me a job. So you fight enemies, you kill the enemies, and then as you keep going through, more enemies are spawned, you have to kill them to continuously progress. Because the door will be locked until you actually defeat the enemies, and certain enemies will not spawn until you've killed the previous set of enemies. So yeah, we can keep going through. Now this enemy spawned, so the door will be locked until you actually kill this set of enemies. And then once you've killed them, the door will open, then you can progress. Sometimes more enemies will spawn. You'll still have to do the little puzzles like flicking switches and stuff. Then you'll get a little bit further and then a boss will spawn. But the cool thing about this is the more floors you do, so it's almost like the tower people were asking for. Almost. I reckon they can do the tower next. I reckon that's probably the next step after they've done this. Because every time you go up a floor, or after you complete a I guess, a stage. So each one of these maps, or let's say you complete a map. Every time you complete a map and move on to the next map, the enemy's levels increases by 100. Until you end up with like 900 to 1000, level 1000 enemies. Then when you get to the very end of the dungeon, the very, very, very end, then you fight an opponent that is... Then you'll find 3 switches on the floor. Depending on the switch you step on, it will spawn a different boss. So you step on the switch, a teleporter will open, you all head into the teleporter, and then you get transported to the boss. It's very Phantasy Star, the way these dungeons are laid out. You teleport to the boss, but the boss is level 1500 at the end. So it is going to be a bit more of a challenge. They're going to have much, much more HP. It's going to take all of you to take them down. But it's doable. It is doable. Oh, and as you're probably thinking, man, you got two photon swords. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You'll get to see which boss this actually drops from. I've got one normal one, and I've got a high grade one. So the high grade one is a rank 10 one, and it is much stronger than the original. But this is one thing that I'm finding odd, or at least this is one thing that I need to look into a little bit more, because I don't know if you give myself MP and some run speed. I don't know if the difficulties actually influence what drops, because I killed the boss that drops this weapon loads of times, so many times. But the only time I actually found a high grade version is when I was doing the hard mode. That's the only time I found it. So I don't know if high grade weapons only drop in hard mode for that boss in particular. You can find high grade versions of the other weapons in this quest, the dungeon search quest. This is where you'll find the high grade weapons of enemies or of bosses. You will find at the end of a run for a whole dungeon, you will find quite a few. But you can choose to leave, because the dungeons are pretty long, you can choose to leave the dungeon after doing one map. So you have the option to actually drop out of it after one map. So you can just keep redoing the part of the map that is comfortable for your level range. Alright, flick that switch. So if you're only roughly around level 600 and you don't have the equipment to take on some of these kind of enemies, or you haven't leveled skills high enough, or you haven't created a build good enough to actually take these down fairly quickly, then you're going to want to just stick with the level 600 ones and then move on, and then just kill the boss at the level 600 floor, and then just leave and then redo it up until level 600, or you just keep going until where you feel you won't be able to handle. Because as the floors get higher, it does get a little bit more challenging. Okay, so we reached the boss door. Someone just jumping in the back. Sumeragi, what are you doing? Okay, so this is the boss teleport. This is what I say is Fantasy. This is so Phantasy Star. Teleport point. You want to enter? Yes. Everyone teleports to the boss. Boss spawns. Music starts. Phantasy started it up. I'm loving it. Now they just need to keep expanding from here. Alright, let me debuff this boss. But this is what I mean about buffs just landing, but then having diminishing returns. So debuffs land really easily on every enemy in the area, it seems, as well. They land fairly easily, but once they wear off, they'll start having diminishing returns. Alright, everyone. I was hoping my status effect, at the moment on my blades I've got status effects on them as well, so I was hoping one of those would land. It seems like the ones on your weapons don't land as often as the ones that you actually cast yourself. We need some MPs. And I need to actually start getting my weapons to +10. I don't have anything at +10. I think the highest weapons I've actually got is ranged weapon to +4, her Excaliburs. But to be honest, I haven't really found a need to actually upgrade my weapons just yet. I'll probably start doing that when I start doing PvP. Or I do some of the online PvP, I'll probably upgrade them to the +10. I've got the material, I've got more than enough materials to do it, I just haven't done it. But I'll get into that. Okay, so now I need to kill the trash mobs as well. Sometimes it gets really hectic. Sometimes you get like multiple bosses spawning in these dungeons, like 2 in this tiny area. And then on top of that you have loads of little trash mobs to deal with as well. So that's when things start to get messy or challenging. But this, I'm doing like the easiest version of it, so it's gonna look like I'm just walking right through. Alright, so that's done. That's that floor done at least. So you can decide if you want to head up to the higher floors, or you can just head back to town with the loot you've got. I don't think if you die or if you lose everything you've collected so far. I think you still get to keep it, or at least I haven't died in it yet to know for sure. But I'm just gonna head out back to town after just doing one floor of it. Usually there's about four different floors, I think, per dungeon. But there we go, I've got my loot. I'm gonna select the next mission now. There's nothing to actually hand in because you didn't actually complete the mission. When you leave, you leave. You don't get to complete the mission and get the rewards. You have to finish the whole dungeon to get the mission rewards. So it's almost like cancelling the mission itself. So here is the next mission. I'm not gonna do the whole mission. I'm gonna do half of this mission because of the music that plays halfway in. It's gonna put. I don't want to put strikes on my channel. Basically, you're gonna have to enjoy that yourself. I will probably do the whole thing at some point. I'll just switch the music out. But for now, in this video, I'll just do half the fight before it goes into its next phase. I'll show you it going into its next phase, but then gonna just cut back to the next mission. So, but this mission I'm doing now is the ultra hard boss or the ultra large boss. This boss it's a house. It's a mansion. It's huge. At the beginning of the fight, you're locked to the ground. But as the fight progresses, you will be able to actually get higher and higher, and then you'll unlock flight. But here we go, let's do this. Another Phantasy Star boss. They've just given you Dark Fouls. They don't want to admit it, but it's fouls. But attacks are going to be coming from everywhere with this boss. Gotta block this. Oh, and it pretty much destroyed my blood. What you need to do with this boss, destroy the crystals located around his body, and then it will move into the next stage. Then you need to destroy other crystals that are on its arms. Oh no, I'm gonna get hit. Gonna need to heal myself up. So I've done this a few times, but I don't know the loot that you actually get from it. I don't know if there's any unique loot that you actually get from just doing this. Alright, so you have to destroy all of the crystals located around its body, and then it will move into the next stage where you have to destroy both its wings. I need more of these bosses. I hope they add many more. And you gotta deal with the boss shooting you from above as well as trying to dodge the attacks from below. Let me see if I can debuff it, or if it just debuffs the single parts. Nope, you can't it doesn't look like you can land a debuff on this one. It's resistant, or at the very least it's resistant. Ooh, okay. Gotta stay on your toes for this boss, which is what I like it. I like it. This boss keeps you on your feet. It's something that's a little bit different. I just hope they keep up with the trend. I hope they add an insanely large boss with every major update. Alright, let me get out of there. I thought it was gonna use a sword skill for a second there. Oh no, I'm gonna get hit. There are no block. There are characters that are better suited for this. Ones that hit enemies that are bosses or not. Wow, I can't even speak. Characters that can hit enemies from range are better for taking out those crystals. So I should have probably been controlling Klein for this one, since he's got a ranged sword skill. Okay, next phase. Okay, so now let's move on to phase 2 of the fight. Need to get to his arms. But there's going to be constant damage coming from everywhere when you're trying to destroy the arms. You can see he's spamming magic, and look how huge this boss is. It's insane. Performance-wise, I'm interested to see how this boss will run on the Vita version with all this stuff going on. Because even on the PS3 version, when there's a lot of stuff going crazy, I do notice very, very slight dips in frame rate. Very slight. Ooh. Taking hits. Klein, you're meant to hit it. You're meant to hit it, Klein. What are you doing? Alright, this wing core is almost dead. Alright, there we go. Klein's finished it off. Now we've got to destroy this other one that's up here. Oh, this was probably a bad idea. Yeah, I took too many hits there. But Sumeragi is keeping me up. I like the fact that you kind of have to have some sort of decent party setup to take down this boss. If you're doing it in some of the harder difficulties. Still low on MP. Alright, I'm gonna save my MP before I try. Alright, so that's one wing down. I need to use my MP buff, but usually he's gonna probably shake the ground. Alright, MP buff. Next part. So once this wing is destroyed, then it will move on to the final phase of the fight. And that I'm gonna leave you guys to see for yourself. You gotta save some stuff for you, right? You gotta see some stuff for yourself, right? Oh, you almost caught me. You almost caught me, boss. Too slow, though. Too slow. All I ask is for NAMCO to keep these updates up. Keep them up. And keep them up at a reasonable pace. I'd say if you're going to add content update this big, or with enough content, and you're gonna still keep updating every week, still keep adding missions every week. I'll be happy with like a boss like this, what, every 2 months or so. I'll be comfortable if they're gonna keep adding missions every week. I wouldn't mind having to wait like a month or two for a boss like this. Alright, so it's going to move into the next phase very soon, and then we're going to go to the next boss. Okay, so I want to show you the final mission they added, which is a crossover boss from Exo World. So it's one of the characters from Exo World, Kuroyuki Hime. Kuroyuki Hime. Am I saying it right? I've started Excel World, but I never actually finished it. Kuroyuki Hime. I'm pretty sure I'm getting her name right. But yeah, she's a crossover boss in this game. She can be. I'll say the first time you fight her, she's gonna catch you off guard, and there's a good chance you're gonna lose. A 90% chance you're gonna lose because you won't be able to anticipate what she's doing, and she hits hard and really fast. But once you've played against her a few times, she becomes a pretty standard fight. I reckon you can take it down. I'll take it in easy mode. You can get the photon swords that I've got from her. Not easy mode, normal mode. And in hard mode, I got a HG version. I don't know if the difficulties actually do anything with the drop rate, but I've got these weapons directly from her. I haven't seen her drop anything else. I don't know if the HG weapon drops in normal. I guess after this, I'll check my weapons and see what I got. So let's take a look. Okay, I already know what to do with her. Stand back, debuff her. She's not gonna hit me with the first burst link. She gets directly in front of me. Gives me enough time to actually buff myself up. And I found that fighting her on the ground is probably... Fighting her while staying low on the ground is probably the best. Because when you get into the air, that's when things get slightly messy. Or she's a lot easier to handle when you stay low. And for the burst link move, you need to actually turn around a lot. Because she'll try and hit you from the back. So if you turn around and guard from behind, you can actually catch her while she's doing that move. Alright, let me get some HP back while she's stunned. Get the MP buff on while she's stunned. There you go, you see what I mean? She came from behind. That's usually what catches people off guard. And there's a nice little trick that I like to use with her as well. If you go into Union, if you go into Union, let me see if I can actually get to her though. That is the thing. Union and just stun. Union stun. And then switch on the final one. They dropped the ball, Klein. Alright, so now she's got into a... Now she's been enraged. She's pretty much got into her final phase. The hell was that? She just froze. Alright. So now her burst link changes when she's enraged and she goes and does a diving kick now. But I want to lower her attack a little bit. I want to lower her defense a little bit. She's gonna keep spamming me, isn't she? Alright, she's focusing on Sumeragi now, so now I can heal myself up and go back in. Alright, now I can start hovering. When she goes enraged, I can jump in and start flying for a little bit now. Sumeragi's probably gonna die. Yep, he's down. But this fight does get pretty dangerous because now she actually does have her own version of Starburst Stream, which does hit pretty hard if you get caught in it. Oh, bad mistake, bad mistake. You stopped right behind me. Now I'm gonna see if she usually drops materials that you can use to upgrade these swords. But sometimes she drop a weapon. I'm hoping that she drops more than just these swords though. How can you add a boss? I hope they're not going to do the same thing as Hollow Fragment where they favor one-handed weapons and dual wield when it comes to bosses. I want to see equipment for every character dropping from bosses they add, not just one weapon. That's insane. You can't add a new boss with only one weapon drop. Alright, so let's hand that in. If I did get a weapon from here, then there's a good chance it's going to be a Photon Sword. I want a Photon version of every weapon type. But let's see if she actually drops a HG version. I'm going to hand in all the stuff so you can see what I actually got from the dungeon and what I got from her. Let's see. Shall we? Alright, Elizabeth. Oh, I got a necklace or whatever it's called. I forgot what it's called. Something. I got something. Alright, so I got a one-handed sword. I got another one-handed sword, a dagger. Oh! So you can get HG versions on normal as well. Well, there you go. If you want to do it on normal, you can get HG as well. So I've got two... Wait, is this what I think it is? I need to check it. No, that's not it. This isn't it. So that's not the weapon I was talking about. That's not the weapon. This is just a different HG weapon. So that's the HG weapon from the dungeon. That's not the HG weapon from the boss. Or at least I think it is. The one from the bosses are usually crazy writing like this. Like it's been corrupted. But But that HG weapon that I found, I didn't even check what it was. Whoops. It was probably, I'm pretty sure, was it a dagger or was it a sword? I don't know. But it wasn't the weapon I was looking for. It wasn't one of the photon weapons. But there you go. That's pretty much everything they've added in this update. It's a big update. It was huge. And I'm actually happy with it. I'm pretty sure I'll think of some other stuff that I want to see in the game again at some point. But now the game actually feels complete. I'm enjoying my time with it. I just hope that they add things that are slightly more challenging again. Because once you've got used to everything they've added, I mean, I'd say in about a day I was used to everything. And I was able to just take everything down in hard mode, like normally. But hopefully they'll start adding some more challenge. I haven't yet to do any of the online stuff. I will show you some online gameplay, some multiplayer gameplay really soon. So a lot of the multiplayer PvP and stuff. And to see whether or not playing those missions they've added in multiplayer makes a difference, I'll do that as well. But until then, I'll see you all later.